History is often associated with a ton of studying and countless hours in the classroom, but it may also provide a glimpse into a completely different historical period. The history lessons you learned in school were engaging and informative, but after you watch this video, you'll have heard it all. History is made more interesting by facts that few people are aware of. It makes you wonder how many things about the world's history you actually know. We'd like to educate you on some of the lesser-known history facts that they don't teach you in school. But before that, hello there! This is Ed Chat, your one-stop know-it-all to everything wise and innovative. So, what are you waiting for? Without further ado, here are 15 historical facts that'll change the way you see history. The old saying goes, those who don't know history are bound to repeat it. Knowing your history is essential. The major names and significant dates, and the tidbits that shed light on a historical character or the era they lived in. Maybe it's a surprise revelation that makes you reassess common wisdom. Maybe it's a wild anecdote that appears too outrageous to be true. Whatever the case, the small, startling bits of history may be the most enjoyable portions of history. The type of info that's so zany and out there that it could never be replicated even if someone wanted to. In no particular order, here are 10 such tidbits. Number 1. Alexander the Great went down in history after establishing the ancient world's largest kingdom in his mid-25s. Historians now think that the warmonger succumbed to a rare disease in 323 BC, leaving him gradually more immobile over 6 days. The 32-year-old's muscles were presumably paralyzed by an autoimmune condition. Thus, medics may have missed the fact that he was still breathing. Researchers now believe that Alexander the Great's body did not disintegrate even after he was embalmed prematurely, proving he was a deity in the eyes of ancient Greek scholars. He has been burned alive. Number 2. Even though the Thanksgiving turkey has become a staple in American culture, the Mayans revered these large birds around 300 BC, when they regarded them as conduits of the gods. They treated them like such while domesticating them for use in religious ceremonies. As a result, they were emblems of power and prestige, and may be found everywhere in Mayan iconography and archaeology. Number 3. Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus was just 24 years old when he became Emperor of Rome in 37 AD, and history will remember Gaius as one of the city's worst leaders. Caligula, whose nickname translates as Little Boots, was guilty of blasphemy, incest, and state-sanctioned murder, torture, and plunder. However, in between the sadism were moments of audacious and possibly insane ridiculousness, notably the time he made his favorite horse a senator. Number 4. Once upon a time, the legendary conqueror Napoleon Bonaparte was attacked by bunnies. The emperor had requested that a rabbit hunt be planned for himself and his warriors, so his chief of staff set it up and had men round up reportedly 3,000 bunnies for the occasion. The search began as soon as the rabbits had been liberated from their crates. At least, that was the plan, but the bunnies surged towards Bonaparte and his troops in a vicious and unrelenting onslaught, and we were told that the Waterloo was the conqueror's most significant defeat. Number 5. Captain Morgan was, in fact, a real person who was chosen to represent the well-known rum brand. He was a Welsh pirate who fought for the English against the Spanish in the Caribbean in the 1660s and 1670s. His initial name was Henry, and he was knighted by King Charles II of England. His actual birth date is uncertain, however, it was probably around 1635. He died in Jamaica in 1688, supposedly quite affluent. Number 6. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Albert Einstein, the inventor of the E=mc² equation, was described by Israel's first president, Chaim Weizmann, as the greatest Jew living. When Weizmann died a few months later, the Israeli embassy offered Einstein the position of president. But the physics prodigy politely declined the offer, stating that he was unfit for the position due to his age and lack of interpersonal skills. Number 7. Julius Caesar is undoubtedly the most prominent name linked with the Romans. His assassination and death are likewise immensely notorious. Due to his coup d'etat of the Roman Republic and his proclamation that he was dictator for life, along with his radical political ideas, a group of his fellow Roman senators, led by his best friend Brutus, killed him on March 15, 44 BC. Caesar was stabbed at least 23 times during the assassination before eventually succumbing to his wounds. He passed away with his famous final words, spoken to his erstwhile best friend Brutus, "You too, sweet child?" Hold on! Please click the subscribe button to get notified about more updates. Also, don't forget to leave a like. Which of these facts made your jaw drop? What other facts do you think will make you change the way you understand history? Tell us in the comments below. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 8. Besides becoming a wrestling champ, Abraham Lincoln was also a certified bartender. In 1833, the 16th president started a saloon called Berry & Lincoln with his buddy William F. Berry in New Salem, Illinois. Unfortunately, after Barry, an alcoholic, had devoured most of the store's stock, the establishment was forced to close. Number 9. Ammonia, which is found in urine, is one of nature's best cleaners, despite how appalling that may sound. The liquid gold became so in demand that Romans who traded in it actually had to pay a tax. Number 10. Stale urine's miracles never cease since it was eventually utilized to improve the brightness and effectiveness of colored dyes. Stale urine contains ammonia, which aids in developing dye color and the binding of the dye to fabric. So it's little wonder that in 16th century England, pee was such a precious asset to the textile industry that it was collected in unique urine pots to be carried across the nation for use in factories. Number 11. Cats are said to have been brought to Europe from Egypt by the Romans and initially enjoyed a healthy relationship with humans. However, things changed in the 1230s when the then head of the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Gregory IX, wrote a papal bull called Vox in Rama. Cats were deemed Satan's instruments by this infamous mandate, which led to Europe's renowned cat purge, which targeted black cats since they were thought to be the most satanic. Number 12. The European aristocracy, including princes and scientists, consumed human body parts daily for hundreds of years until the 17th century. Cannibalism became famous because of a fictitious claim that cadavers might treat sickness. As a result, gravediggers began plundering cemeteries regularly, and Egyptian tombs were even raided for their mummified corpses. Number 13. Do you know when the first motorized automobile premiered? No, it wasn't Henry Ford's Model T in 1908. Instead, the first car was built in the 19th century when European engineers Carl Benz and Emily Levasseur worked on automobile ideas. Benz patented the first vehicle in 1886. Number 14. Named Qingxi, she was originally a prostitute in China in the late 1700s. Before the red flag, the fleet's commander bought and wedded her. But rather than just viewing her as a wife, her husband regarded her as his equal, and she became an active pirate captain in the fleet. Qingxi immediately acquired the respect of her fellow pirates. After her husband's death, she took over as captain of the ship. The Red Flag fleet was commanded by Xi and comprised around 300 warships with an additional 1,200 support vessels at their disposal. She had a probable 40,000 with over 80,000 men, women, and children under her command. They terrorized the waterways around China. The Red Flag fleet was such a formidable band of raiders that the Chinese government eventually pardoned Qingxi and her whole fleet to get them off the high seas. Number 15. Dentistry in 1815 wasn't precisely as intricate as it is today. In fact, it was downright vicious. After the Battle of Waterloo, dentists hurried to the battlefield to collect teeth from thousands of dead soldiers. They then transported their loot to their dental clinics, where they were fashioned into dentures for the rich and toothless. One of the primary reasons students avoid history is that it is a dry and lifeless field of study. Moreover, it is rather boring since the pupils have developed their own mindset regarding history. But keep in mind that studying history helps us comprehend and struggle with complicated themes and dilemmas by understanding how the past has influenced and continues to affect global, national, and local relationships between societies and people. We hope that these facts prove that history is not as dull as it may seem. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, then subscribe and hit the notification button to get updated about our latest content. Remember, if you're feeling wise and techie, then EdChat has your back.